Hi, welcome to Amanda's Book Corner. I'm Amanda, and this is my review of The Sweetest Remedy by Igharo. So last year I picked up Igharo's first book, Ties That Tether. I read it at the beginning of this year, and I completely loved it. It's one of my favorite books that I've read so far, and one of my favorite debuts that I've read. So I was really excited when she announced that The Sweetest Remedy would be coming out in September, and it's one of my most anticipated books, and I was really excited to get my hands on it. Like her first one, this was published through Book of the Month, so I got it a little bit early, and that made me pretty happy. I actually ended up finishing it probably the day before it came out to the wider public, so that was pretty exciting for me. So when I read Ties That Tether, it struck me as a book that is a romance first, but a contemporary drama second. With The Sweetest Remedy, I think that is switched. I think this book is more of a contemporary drama first and foremost, but it also has strong elements of romance. The book follows Hannah, who is a biracial woman. She was raised by her white mother, but she's never known her father. She only met him one time in her lifetime, and she's 28 now when she finds out that her father has just died. He was a Nigerian man who lived in Lagos. Now that he's passed, she has been invited to his funeral. And not only that, but she has the opportunity to get to know her 4 half-siblings. So Hannah goes to Lagos, and she spends a few days getting to know her family that she never met before. It's a little bit awkward because they didn't even know she existed until now, so there are definitely some hard feelings among some of her new family members. They don't all accept her into their hearts right away, while some of them are more open-minded and more accepting of her, excited to have a new sibling and excited to get to know her and show her around Nigeria. Others are definitely more upset about her, upset about what that means based on their dad, because he did cheat on his wife. That's why Hannah exists. There's a lot of complicated feelings, which are completely understandable. It's definitely a tough situation that they're in. So while Hannah is staying in their house, and by the way, I shouldn't really call it house, it's more like a mansion, because did I forget to say her newfound family is very wealthy. They live in a part of Lagos known as Banana Island, which is a more affluent area of the city. This is in stark contrast to other parts that are definitely a lot poorer. And this is where her love interest is originally from. His name is Lawrence, and he's heavily part of the family, but he's not a direct blood relation of hers. And they had actually incidentally met right before she found out about all of this when he was in San Francisco on business. That's where she lives, in San Francisco. So when they first met back there in San Francisco, it's a little bit insta love, but they didn't really have any time to get to know each other or explore anything. Now that she's in Lagos, she and Lawrence have an opportunity to get to know each other more. He's really her only true ally at the very beginning of her stay there. He makes her feel welcomed and comfortable. He is one of the people that shows her around the city, but they also have developing romantic feelings for each other as well. The Sweetest Remedy is a fairly short book. It's barely 300 pages long, and it packs a lot of different themes and dramas into it. I think that probably is the one major downside to this book, is I think it's too short for the amount of stuff that the author tries to pack in here. For me, it was kind of hard to balance both her family drama with her developing romance with Lawrence. So in my mind, I think there are really 2 options that would have made this book stronger. One is to cut out one of the plot points, or 2, and my preference, would be to kind of flesh out the story a little bit more, maybe add, 50 to 100 more pages, and I think that would have made it feel a little bit more complete and more realistic. As it is, it felt a little bit too short for me to be fully invested in everything that was going on, and I think certain things, either they weren't developed enough or they weren't explored enough in resolving them. So for example, Hannah has 4 half-siblings, and while 1 or 2 of them do like her pretty much right away, the other 2 take some time to warm up to her and to accept her and recognize that it's not her fault that she was a secret all of this time. Between those 2 siblings, I think one of them was particularly annoying and immature throughout the whole situation for several days before it was resolved. But another thing that did bother me a little bit is I felt like when situations were resolved, it seemed that it was kind of too swift and too sudden. It's like there's a problem, okay, it's fixed now, and that's it. And I kind of wish that the resolution to these problems, especially with the more difficult character, I wish they had been a little bit more more expounded upon, perhaps. It just felt too easy of a solution for some of these issues. Beyond the family drama and the romance, there are some other themes that come up. One of the themes that stood out to me is the class differences and the different socioeconomic statuses that we see within this book. Hannah grew up with a single mother, and she definitely comes from a more working class background. Meanwhile, her family in Lagos is extremely wealthy. They have a giant mansion, they probably have private jets, they're quite rich. And not just that, we also see the differences within Nigeria. While her family lives on Banana Island, which is this very wealthy neighborhood within Lagos, contrast that with where Lawrence grew up. Lawrence grew up in a very poor area of the city. I think it's called Ajegunle, although I might have completely mispronounced that, so I'm really sorry if I did. But you can really see the extreme wealth gap within that one city. And I like that these topics were explored a little bit, but I would have liked to see it a little bit more, see a little bit more exploration of that. But it is nice to see that although her family is very wealthy, they also do a lot for charity, so there is some good with that as well. Another theme that comes up is racism, and specifically the difficulties that people who are either racially ambiguous or, like in Hannah's case, biracial, the kinds of particular difficulties they face with people maybe trying to guess their race or something like that. It comes across as cringy and racist. It happens twice in this book, and both times it gets shut down, as it should. So there's a lot I like about The Sweetest Remedy. I really do like seeing this exploration of this family drama. I just wish that some of the conflicts with some of her siblings and their mother as well, I wish they were a little bit more realistic, or maybe done in a more mature looking way and resolved a little bit with a little bit more time. And likewise, I wish that there was just more room overall for all of these different themes and plot points that were going on. I do think this book would have benefited with an additional maybe 50 or so pages, maybe 100 pages. I think that would have really given it room to blossom entirely. But that's not to say this is a bad book. I actually did really like this. In the end, I gave it 4 stars, and I really do like Jane Igharo's writing. This is her second book so far, and I will definitely be reading more from her in the future. And I'm already excited about her next book. In a recent interview, she already announced that her third book is called Worth Having, and it will also be set in Nigeria. So that should be coming out sometime in 2022, probably, I would guess, around late summer, early fall, just like her previous 2 books. So I'm really excited for that one, so stay tuned for that. So I hope you enjoyed this review video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be releasing more videos like this one, at least 1 or 2 every week, because I do read a fair amount. And in a couple months, I will start also putting out some additional content, so stay tuned for that as well. So thanks for watching this one, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!